What's up guys, I'm Chris Doughty, aka Doughty. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to run you through everything you need to know to win the Group 1 race at Road Atlanta. This is the Group 1 prototype series. There's a bunch of new races at Road Atlanta with the update 1.26. Some people pointed out 1.27. I said before I was wrong. It's 1.26. The rules for this race, 950 pp or less, 12 times fuel, 11 times tyre wear. So it's going to be quite an interesting race. It's 30 minutes long. There's a lot you can do, and warning right now, you need a car with lights on because it gets dark at the end of the race. For this one, I'm going to use a completely stock Porsche 919 hybrid. I would recommend, if you're struggling, to add the medium RPM turbocharger. There's plenty of ways to increase the performance of this car, but I'm going to go with a completely default setup, except I'm going to change the tyres to racing hard tyres. Check out some of my other videos on the channel. I've got some tunes for this 919 to go around Nürburgring Nordschleife. I've got a tune for it to win at Suzuka Group 1 prototypes race. So if you want a bit of performance increase, just add in the medium RPM turbocharger. But in this one, I'm going to run it completely stock and see if we can get the win. So it's a 30-minute race. Your usual Group 1 competitors now, and skipping forwards. And yeah, I thought it was a bit easy there. So yeah, I had it sound easy from last time. That was a bit of a cop-out. So we're back on hard difficulty. I'm going to run through this race on hard difficulty with a completely stock Porsche 919 hybrid. Fantastic car. Now for this one, I have a feeling that it's going to be about fuel saving. So I'm going to run from the start on fuel map number 4. And I'm not really going to know what I'm doing. This is my first go on the track, but I'm pretty sure I can get it done. And as we go through this video, I'm going to help you learn the track, as well as pointing out all the mistakes I've been making. So there's a few key corners on this track, and I got it wrong, as you saw just there, but we're going to get into the swing of things pretty soon. We've got a track limits penalty there, so avoid that little mistake like I did just then. There'll be a lap guide somewhere in this video. It's going to give you exactly what you need to do for braking reference points. And also I'm going to go through some hybrid preservation and generation techniques. I've got a completely separate video on that. I'll link that at the end of this video, but I'm going to give you the brief overview of how to get it done to preserve the hybrid and get more energy on corner exits. But in this race, it's Wilk is the man to watch out for. He's the guy in the Peugeot Vision GT car. If you've done any other Group 1 prototype series races in Gran Turismo 7, you'll know about Wilk in that Peugeot. He's a very, very dangerous and formidable driver. For the keen-eyed amongst you, you'll realise now that we're not really gaining on any of the other drivers. We've done one lap, we're on our second lap now, and we're still in dead last position, and we're not really making any progress. But this is not a problem because it's a high fuel usage race, and we're running very conservatively on fuel map number 4. This is going to give us at least 10 minutes of time on a fuel tank, and a lot of these other drivers in the race were pitting many times. This is going to be a battle of the hare and the tortoise, and in this example we're going to be the tortoise. Running slow with fuel map number 4, and just being very economical on fuel mileage, and we're only going to be pitting twice in this race, so fuel map number 4 gets you easily beyond 10 minutes into this race. And as we're going to progress further in this race, I'm going to actually up the fuel map to be faster and faster, because I actually really saved too much fuel really. So 4 is a very easy way to get this done. Fuel map 3, maybe even 2 towards the end. The goal with this race is to make about 10 minutes on a tank of fuel and you're all good. The other thing to note is the hybrid preservation or regeneration technique. In the braking zones, leave your foot in on the throttle and get on the brakes early, and plant both feet or pull both triggers to brake and throttle at the same time. This forces energy into the hybrid unit. It does extend your braking length, but you save a lot more time by gaining energy on corner entry and using it on corner exit. It can get a bit bunched up. The way Group 1 works with Group C, LMP1, Vision GT cars, they all have different strengths and weaknesses, and it can really get bunched up on the track at different points in the race. So just navigate through these guys as best you can. In this 919, you'll be so fast through the corners, but you'll be lacking a bit of top speed on the main straight. So just bear that in mind, and if you can get in front of the guys on the corner entries and through the corners, then you'll all be good. Here is where our strategy choice starts to play out. Wilk is going to pit from 3rd already. Barely 5 minutes 30 into the race and Wilk is already in the pits. Skipping forwards again, and we're going to see the guy again. Wilk is going to pass us on the main straight, but we're not worried. He's got to pit many more times than we pit. And yeah, the speed of that car is pretty ridiculous. To be honest, if you want an easy win, maybe try out that Peugeot Vision GT car. But while we've got him in our sights, we're going to try and follow him to see how fast that car really is. Now, we are still on fuel map 4, so we are severely limited on power, but our fuel efficiency is absolutely through the roof. There are plenty of other drivers in the pits right now, and we are not even looking at a sniff of fuel. About a third of the tank left for us. That VGT car isn't quite so good as we are through the corners, but the top speed of that car is pretty immense. But I think there's no better car than the Porsche 919 hybrid for Group 1. Skipping forwards, lap number 10 will be our pit lap. We are maybe 12 minutes through the race, so that's fantastic for our fuel mileage there. The pit lane entry is very difficult. Do as I say, not as I do, and I make a massive error here. What you need to do, you need to sweep in and enter the pit lane a bit later. I'll demonstrate that to you a little bit later in the video. But what we're going to do in the pit stop is just throw a new set of racing hard tyres on it. Maybe mediums would work. Tyre wear doesn't seem to be too bad for us in this car, but hard tyres guarantee you'll make the distance, no problem at all. Fill the tank to the maximum and then let it exit the pit lane. Yeah, I would highly recommend taking a little bit of caution, a little bit easy on pit lane entry, because it's easy to get a penalty, it's easy to crash. You'll see that later on in this video. And also on pit lane exit, make sure you don't cross the solid yellow line as you rejoin the track. Dotted white, yellow line you can cross, that's no problem. Solid white line, it's white on some tracks, but it's yellow on this one. Don't cross the solid yellow line. All good, back up to speed on the track now, and it's 17 minutes to go in the race, and we've got a full tank of fuel. Let me know in the comments below, do you think it's possible to do a one-stop strategy in this race? I'd be interested to know about that one. So we have exited the pits in 8th position, 6th position, I can't read. We've got a 1 minute, oh, that'd be shocking, a 1 second penalty for a pit lane line infringement, so that's going to be a little bit annoying. Also, the penalty line on this track is midway down the back straight, which can really cause you some problems. It's a big scrub of speed, but it is what it is, and I think we should have plenty in the tank for this one. It's around about now, I thought, looking at the time and the amount of stops left, I can't make a one-stop strategy work. I've pitted way too early to make that work, so I am just going to boost up the fuel map to number 3, but be careful when you're playing with your fuel maps. As you've just seen right there, it's going to change your approach speed to the corners, so it's important to be aware when you change your fuel map. You're going to be approaching corners faster, you're going to need to brake earlier, all that good stuff. As you can see here as well, Wilk is in the pits again, and it's going to put us into the lead of this race. There's going to be plenty more pit stops to happen, so that's going to be good. I'm going to run you through a lap guide now. Check out the way we use throttle and brake, especially into turn 1. Drag the brake as you go around there. That's going to regenerate some hybrid through this sequence of corners here. Both feet on the brakes to slow you down into this right-hander. That's also going to generate more hybrid. A lot of the braking zones here, you're going to remain on the throttle and on the brakes at the same time. Again, into this one here, dragging both brakes and throttle really forces energy into that hybrid. Another double braking technique here into this double right-hander. The first part is quite open, the second part is very deceptively tight, and we missed the apex completely there. But look at the hybrid battery we've managed to generate here. A lot of hybrid is going to give us a great boost down this back straight. And we're on fuel map number 1 now, because we're getting towards the sharp end of the race. We know we can make it on fuel to the next stop, and we're all good. Again, into the braking zone here, planting both feet on throttle and brake, forcing energy into that hybrid and through this sequence of corners here. Corner exit now, we're going to sweep nicely through to complete the lap. This is going to be our fastest lap of the race. It's not the fastest lap of the race. Wilk has that, but his strategy just isn't working out. Skipping forwards now, we're going to need to put a bit of fuel in the car to get to the end of this race, and we're going to run wide. Careful on the corner exit there, we're going to spin it, drop the car, And this is, we've crashed quite a few times in this race, and not a fantastic drive from us, but it does give you a look at the pit lane. So here you can see the dotted line. The dotted line becomes solid at this straight part here. So the best way into the pit lane is to sweep in wide and then get yourself lined up with that solid line here. You're driving the pit lane right up until this point here, so make sure you scrub a little bit of speed for that little kink to the left. Again, throwing some new tyres on it, filling it to the maximum, just because when it's a time limited race, the diamond to tell you how far to fill your car up isn't present. So make sure you just use the right amount of fuel. Just make sure you overfill the car. You've got to make it to the end of the race, and we'll be perfectly fine with this. From this point of the race onwards, the last 5 minutes or so, dusk starts to come down. If you're using a super formula car in this race, then you'll be in a whole lot of problems. You do need a car with lights for this race. Now again, we're going to go through and talk a little bit more. As you use a higher fuel map, the danger is slightly more increased. We're going to drop the car on corner exit there, a little bit of swaz on corner exit, smashed into the barrier, and again throwing away a whole chunk more time. So it's a pretty shocking result for me, but it's not too bad. Later on in the race, you're going to be tripping over a lot of traffic, lapped cars. I would recommend switching back to the minimap radar just to really help you navigate these guys, because they get it all over the place. You know what the AI drivers are like in this game, and in the dark it makes things a whole lot more difficult because a lot of the braking references will not be quite so prominent in your vision. Skipping forward now, the final lap of the race, 25th lap, and we're going to bring it home with the win with a completely stock Porsche 919 hybrid, and I think that's not too bad if you ask me. Throwing in a medium RPM turbocharger could really help you out here. And if you want to go for a Vision GT car, make sure you subscribe, because I'm thinking about tuning the Vision GT Red Bull 25th anniversary car down to 950 pp, and we'll see what we can do with that one. Hopefully this video is going to help you win this Group 1 prototype series at Road Atlanta. Let me know in the comments below if it's going to help you out at all in any way. On screen will be a link to a video which is going to help you enhance your hybrid performance in Gran Turismo 7. Make sure you go over there and watch that one, and we'll catch you over there.